The Betrayal and Exile. Commander Elara Morgan stood at the observation deck of the Earth diplomatic vessel Horizon, watching as the magnificent crystalline spires of Galactic Council headquarters rotated slowly against the backdrop of a violet nebula. For nearly 80 years, humanity had been part of this grand coalition of species, contributing their unique perspectives and rapidly advancing technology to the greater galactic community. Commander, her AI assistant chimed softly in her ear, "The council session is about to begin." Elara straightened her midnight blue uniform adorned with the silver insignia of Earth's Unified Space Command. She had been summoned on short notice, an unusual occurrence that had put her on edge. The message had been cryptic, mentioning only an urgent matter concerning Earth's status. As she entered the vast council chamber, Elara immediately sensed something was wrong. The normal bustle of diplomatic aides and representatives had been replaced by a tense silence. The chamber's central platform was occupied by the 7 High Counselors, representatives of the founding species whose ancestors had established the Galactic Council millennia ago. High Counselor Verax, a tall, gaunt figure with shimmering blue skin, acknowledged her presence with a slight nod. "Commander Morgan, representative of Earth, you stand before this council to receive our judgment." "Judgment?" Elara stepped forward, confusion evident in her voice. "I was unaware Earth was being tried for anything." "Earth has not been on trial, Commander," said Counselor Tizara, her feline features impassive. "The decision has already been made." A holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber, showing images of Earth's recent achievements. The quantum drive that had revolutionized interstellar travel, the neural interface technology that had cured countless ailments across multiple species, the terraforming methods that had restored dying worlds. For the past decade, Verax continued, Earth has accelerated its technological development at a rate that exceeds all safety protocols established by this council. Your species has expanded its colonial presence to 17 systems without proper authorization. Elara felt her pulse quicken. Those systems were uninhabited and outside council jurisdiction. "We've broken no laws." "It is not about laws, Commander," said Counselor Draff, his crystalline form refracting light as he spoke. "It is about balance, about stability. Humanity advances too quickly, adapts too readily. You absorb technologies from other cultures and improve upon them within a single generation. This creates instability." By unanimous decision, Verax announced, his voice echoing through the chamber, "Earth is hereby expelled from the Galactic Council. All diplomatic ties are severed, all trade agreements nullified, all military alliances dissolved. Earth and its colonies are quarantined, effective immediately." The words struck Elara like physical blows. "This is outrageous. Earth has been nothing but a loyal member of the Council. We've contributed to medical, technological, and cultural advancement throughout the galaxy." "That is precisely the point," Tizara said coldly. "Your contributions have begun to eclipse those of species that have been part of this council for thousands of years. The balance must be maintained." "You're afraid of us," Elara said, realization dawning. "You're afraid of what humanity might become." "This session is concluded," Verax stated, ignoring her accusation. "You have 48 hours to recall all Earth vessels and personnel from Council space. Any human ship found in Council territory after that time will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." Elara stood motionless as the Council members departed, leaving her alone in the vast chamber. Her mind raced through the implications of what had just happened. Humanity, cut off from the galactic community they had worked so hard to join, now faced isolation and potential economic collapse. As she returned to the horizon, Elara's shock gave way to a cold, calculating anger. The communication officer approached her with obvious distress. "Commander, the Council has already broadcast their decision throughout the galaxy. Our allies, former allies, are already distancing themselves. We're receiving reports of Earth citizens being expelled from various worlds." "Get me a direct line to the unified Earth government," Elara ordered, Her voice steadied despite the turmoil inside her. Priority Alpha. When the holographic visage of President Chen appeared, Ilara gave her report without preamble. The president's expression grew increasingly grim. "Return to Earth immediately, Commander," Chen finally said. "We need to prepare our people for what's coming." The journey back to Earth took 3 days. 3 days during which Ilara barely slept, instead poring over intelligence reports and strategic analyses. By the time the blue-green sphere of Earth appeared in the view screen, she had formulated the beginnings of a plan. Earth received the news of the Council's betrayal with shock that quickly transformed into unified determination. For the first time in centuries, the nations of Earth stood together without division, recognizing an existential threat that demanded complete cooperation. President Chen addressed the unified Global Assembly, her words broadcast to every corner of Earth and its colonies. "Today, we have been cast out by those we considered allies and friends. The Galactic Council fears our potential, our adaptability, our innovative spirit. They have labeled these qualities dangerous. In doing so, they have revealed a profound truth. Humanity's greatest strengths are seen as threats by those who cannot match them." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly. "We will not beg for readmission to a council that fears progress. We will not apologize for our advancement. Instead, we will accelerate it. If the council wishes to see humanity contained, they will soon discover that we cannot be caged." The assembly erupted in applause as President Chen continued. "I am authorizing the immediate implementation of the Phoenix Protocol." Ilara, standing at attention behind the president, felt a chill run down her spine. The Phoenix Protocol had been developed in secret over the past decade, a contingency plan for exactly this scenario. It had seemed paranoid at the time, but now appeared prescient. Within days, Earth's industrial capacity was redirected. Shipyards that had built exploration vessels now constructed warships. Research facilities that had focused on medical advancements now developed weapons technology. The 17 colonial systems, connected by Earth's superior quantum drive network, became fortress worlds, each developing specialized production capabilities. But the true game-changer came 6 months after the exile, when excavations beneath the Antarctic ice sheet revealed something extraordinary: the remnants of an ancient alien outpost, predating human civilization by millions of years. "We believe they were called the Precursors," explained Dr. Lilian Zhao, chief archaeologist at the site. "From what we can decipher of their records, they were the first species to achieve interstellar travel in our galaxy, long before the founding of the Galactic Council. And they chose Earth as an outpost?" Ilara asked, staring at the gleaming metallic structures that had been buried for countless millennia. "Not just an outpost," Dr. Zhao replied, her eyes shining with excitement. "A vault, a repository of their most advanced technology. And, Commander, they left it specifically for us. Their records indicate they identified early humans as having unique potential. They seeded certain genetic markers in our ancestors, then left this vault to be discovered when we reached the appropriate technological level." "Why didn't we find this before joining the Council?" President Chen asked. Dr. Zhao smiled. "Because it was programmed to remain hidden until Earth faced a specific threat: isolation from the galactic community. It's as if they predicted this exact scenario. The technology within the Precursor Vault was beyond anything humanity had encountered, even in their dealings with the most advanced Council species: neutronic power cores that generated virtually unlimited energy, gravitational manipulation systems that could bend space itself, molecular restructuring technology that could transform raw materials into any form. Within a year of discovery, the first ship incorporating Precursor technology was ready for testing. The Phoenix, commanded by Ilara Morgan, now promoted to Admiral, slipped from Earth's orbit undetected by the Council monitoring satellites that patrolled the edge of the Sol system. As the ship activated its advanced drive system, Ilara watched the stars blur around them. The Phoenix Protocol was entering its final phase. Humanity would soon return to the galactic stage, not as supplicants begging for readmission, but as a power that could no longer be ignored or contained. Part 2. The Phoenix Rises. 5 years after Earth's exile from the Galactic Council, rumors began to spread throughout the galaxy. Strange ships had been sighted at the edges of civilized space, vessels of unfamiliar design that appeared and disappeared before they could be properly tracked or identified. Remote outposts reported brief communications disruptions, followed by inexplicable technological failures. Supply convoys occasionally vanished, only to reappear days later with crews who had no memory of what had happened. The Council dismissed these reports as sensationalism or the work of pirates, but High Counselor Verax was not convinced. In a closed session with the other founding members, he voiced his concerns. These incidents follow a pattern, he insisted, highlighting various points on a galactic map. They are probing our defenses, testing our response times. You believe this is the work of humans? Cesara asked skeptically. Our intelligence indicates they remain contained within their isolation zone, struggling with resource limitations. Our intelligence is clearly flawed, Verax replied. I propose we send a fleet to the border of Earth's territory, a show of force to remind them of their place. The Council approved the motion, and a battle group of 30 vessels was dispatched to the edge of what had once been designated as Earth's permitted space, a small cluster of systems surrounding Sol. What they encountered there would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Ilara Morgan stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, now the flagship of Earth's Shadow Fleet. Alongside it were 50 vessels of similar design, each incorporating precursor technology that had been refined and improved upon by human engineers. The fleet had been operating in secret for 3 years, gathering intelligence and preparing for this moment. Council battle group approaching, Admiral, reported her tactical officer. They're maintaining formation at the edge of the neutral zone. Ilara nodded. Right on schedule. Send the signal. Throughout the galaxy, at precisely the same moment, 500 Earth vessels emerged from concealment. They appeared in orbit around major Council worlds, beside critical space stations, and alongside important shipping lanes. Each ship broadcast the same message on all frequencies. Attention Galactic Council. This is Admiral Ilara Morgan of the Earth Defense Force. 5 years ago, you cast humanity aside, believing us contained and neutralized. Today, you will acknowledge your error. We have not spent these years in isolation and decline, but in preparation and advancement. The ships you now see throughout your territory could have attacked without warning. Instead, we offer this demonstration as a prelude to negotiation. On the Council homeworld, panic ensued as the 7 High Counselors gathered in emergency session. The holographic displays showed Earth vessels in position near every strategically important location in Council space. How is this possible? Demanded Counselor Drav. Our intelligence indicated they had no more than a dozen outdated military vessels. Clearly, Tizera replied coldly, humanity is more resourceful than we anticipated. The Council Battle Group Commander, facing Ilara's fleet, received urgent orders. Engage and destroy the human vessels to demonstrate that the Council would not be intimidated. They're powering weapons, the tactical officer informed Ilara. All 30 ships are moving to attack formation. Ilara had anticipated this response. Activate defensive fields, but do not return fire unless directly hit. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with. The Council ships opened fire, their energy weapons and projectiles streaking across space toward the Earth fleet. What happened next sent shockwaves through the Council command structure. The attack simply vanished, absorbed by invisible barriers that shimmered briefly upon impact but showed no sign of weakening. After allowing the Council fleet to exhaust their initial barrage, Ilara gave her next order. Target their propulsion systems only. Precision shots, minimal damage. From the Phoenix and its sister ships, pinpoint beams of coherent energy lanced out, striking each Council vessel with surgical precision. Their engines disabled, the ships drifted helplessly in space. "Open a channel to their commander," Ilara ordered. The face that appeared on the screen was that of a Vexian, his normally blue skin pale with shock. "What manner of weapons are these?" he demanded. "What have you done to our ships?" "We've temporarily disabled them," Ilara replied calmly. "Your crews are unharmed, and life support remains functional. Consider this a demonstration of restraint, not aggression. Earth does not seek war, Commander. We seek recognition." Throughout Council space, similar scenes played out. Earth vessels demonstrated their superior technology without causing casualties, neutralizing military responses with ease while avoiding civilian targets. On the Council homeworld, the 7 High Counselors received an unexpected visitor. President Chen herself, accompanied by a delegation of Earth's foremost scientists and diplomats, walked into the Council chamber unannounced and unhindered, having bypassed the planet's vaunted security systems. "How dare you intrude upon this chamber?" Verax exclaimed, rising from his seat. "We were once invited members," Chen replied evenly. "Today we invite ourselves, not as supplicants, but as equals, perhaps more than equals." "What do you want?" Caesara asked, her composure cracking for the first time in her long political career. "A new beginning," Chen stated. "Earth will not return to the Council as it currently exists, a stagnant oligarchy that fears innovation and punishes progress. Instead, we propose a new galactic coalition, one where advancement is celebrated, not suppressed. You cannot dictate terms to us," Verax insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. "Cannot we?" Chen gestured to the holographic displays showing Earth vessels throughout Council space. "Your military is neutralized. Your defenses are penetrated. Your leadership is sitting across from me right now, completely at our mercy." The chamber fell silent as the reality of their situation sank in. "And yet," Chen continued, her voice softening, "we have harmed no one, destroyed nothing irreplaceable. This restraint is not weakness, High Counselors. It is humanity's greatest strength, our capacity for mercy even in triumph." In the days that followed, news spread throughout the galaxy of the Council's humiliation and Earth's triumphant return. But more surprising to many was what happened next. Rather than establishing dominance through force, Earth began reaching out to species that had been marginalized by the Council, civilizations whose technological or cultural development had been deemed destabilizing and subsequently suppressed. The Novan Collective, isolated for their experimentation with artificial intelligence. The Xanthari Ascendancy, restricted for their advancements in biotechnology. The Riven Enclaves, sanctioned for their spiritual practices that enhanced natural abilities. Each had suffered under the Council's restrictive policies, and each now found in humanity an ally who understood their plight. Within months, a new alliance began to form, one founded on principles of mutual advancement and shared discovery rather than controlled stability. The Galactic Coalition, as it came to be known, grew rapidly as worlds chafed under Council restrictions saw an alternative path. The final confrontation came not through military might, but through economic and political reality. The Council, deprived of key member worlds and technological advantages, found itself increasingly irrelevant. One by one, even the founding species began to negotiate their entry into the coalition, leaving behind the stagnant institution they had once championed. 1 year after Earth's decisive demonstration, Admiral Ilara Morgan and President Chen stood together on the observation deck of the newly constructed coalition headquarters, a massive space station at a neutral point between major member worlds. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Chen asked, gazing out at the gathered diplomatic vessels from over 200 worlds. "Not an ending," Ilara replied. "A beginning. The Council exiled us because they feared what humanity might become. They never considered what humanity might help others become." Below them, in the Grand Assembly Chamber, representatives from civilizations across the galaxy prepared to ratify the Coalition Charter, a document enshrining the right to innovation, the value of cultural exchange, and the principle that diversity of thought and approach strengthened rather than weakened galactic society. As the ceremony began, Ilara reflected on the journey that had brought them here, the betrayal that had forced humanity to look inward and discover their hidden strengths, the exile that had freed them from restrictions they hadn't even recognized, the challenges that had forged a united Earth more powerful than the scattered nations that had first reached for the stars. The Galactic Council had cast humanity aside, believing they were neutralizing a threat. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's greatest potential, not just for conquest or dominance, but for transformation. The galaxy would never be the same, and in the end, even those who had once feared humanity's rise would benefit from the new order that rose from the ashes of exile. Humanity had not just survived betrayal. They had transcended it, and in doing so, changed the stars themselves.